Welcome to the fourth of these videos on setting up Filr. In this video, we're just going to cover how to set up your network storage to go against OES volumes. My name's Robin Redgrave. I'm a solutions consultant based out of the UK. Let's just log in as admin. And to get into the administration console again is in the top right on the drop down. I've got an option for administration console. You'll notice here I'm getting a warning about setting up a NetFolder server. This is a NetFolder server that was automatically created when we imported our users because this is where their home directories existed. So it's set that up, but it needs some extra information in order for users to access their home drives. I'll just set close on that. Let's just start off by configuring a proxy identity. So this is a user that has rights to all the file system that I'm going to be exposing and is used by the administration to access the files and also to give access to users who don't actually have file rights on the file system access to files. So let's just go into proxy identities. I'll create a new proxy identity. I'll call this one OES proxy. And let's just go and select that Filr proxy user. I'd normally use the same user as the LDAP proxy, but just make sure that they've got rights to the file system in addition to rights to the directory. I'm just going to specify the password here and say OK. So now let's just go to NetFolder servers, and I should see one or more servers there that were created automatically for me. So let's just configure that one. So if I come in here, the server type is undefined. If I do the drop down there, I've got an option for a number of different servers. I'm just going to take that Open Enterprise server. If I wanted to, I can use the option to access it with CIFS, or if I've got NSS for AD configured on there, I can use that. In this instance, I'll just use the standard setting there. For authentication, I can specify an individual proxy name, but I prefer to use that proxy identity that we set up earlier, because then, for instance, if I change the password on that and I've got 100 servers, I only have to change the password once rather than for each server there. So let's just select that proxy identity. I can test the connection, and that's working, so that's good. Let's just go into a couple of other things here. I've got the synchronization schedule, which most probably I'd want to kick in maybe once a day at midnight or thereabouts. So at the moment that's kicking in at midnight every day, which is fine. If I have a large file system that takes quite a long time to synchronize, and what we're talking about here, synchronization, is just confirming what's in the Filr database is what we have on disk, and updating that with any changes that have happened. So if I've got a large file system, maybe I'll run that once a week at the weekend if it takes a long time to run. And finally, I've got the synchronization options. The two important things here really are, do I want to enable JITs, or just-in-time synchronization? And I strongly recommend that you have that enabled, and you'll see that it gets a bit more important when we create another NetFolder server in a moment where that is not enabled by default. And then you need to work out, do you want to actually index the content of the files, so all the text in your documents, or just the metadata? If you index the content, that obviously gives your users far greater searching capability to find the document they want, but it does obviously add extra load to the system and take additional disk space as well. So it's an option that you've got there. I'll leave this one disabled for the moment, and let's just say OK to that. So let's just add in another NetFolder server for my departmental shares. Let's just call this departments. And that is going to be OES again. Server path is going to be oes.mydemo.biz/vol1, Authentication, again, I'm going to use that OES proxy user that we created. Just do a test. That's all working fine. Good. Synchronization schedule, I will enable synchronization, and we'll do that every day at midnight. And then on the synchronization options, you can see by default that's not enabled for the JIT, so I'll just enable the JITs side of things there. I'll say OK to that. We've now got some NetFolder servers created. What we now need to do is point to the directories of the net folders that we want to expose to our users. So I've got an option here for net folders, and I will add, so let's just add sales, which is on departments net folder server, and that's in a directory called file/sales. Let's just check that works. Yeah, good. And then I can specify settings on that for JIT's net folder settings. As far as rights is concerned, what I'm going to do here is specify that all internal users can access that share. But that doesn't necessarily mean that they're going to see it. They have the opportunity to see it if the file system, in this case the OES server, has file rights for them on that server. And don't worry about the other bits. We'll cover this in the next video, which are the sharing rights. So if I just say OK to that, we've got the synchronization schedule. I'll just use the one on the net folder server. And data synchronization is just to deal with whether this can be seen from the Mac or Windows desktop. I'll just say OK to that. And I'll just say OK to synchronize that. Let's just add another one. So we'll call this one marketing. And that's in files, marketing. Test that. Good. Let's just go to rights again. All internal users have access. Let's just use that. Say OK. And then just add one last one, which is going to be the finance directory. Let's just check that's right. It is good. So again here I'll just do, of course I can add individual users and match what the rights are on the file system if I really wanted to, but it's a lot easier just say everyone's got the rights and then leave it to the file system to work out whether they can see it or not. So let's just deal with that. And let's just do a synchronization on everything there, so that will go through, and that's completed. Let me just close that, and let's just log out and give that a go. I'll log in as a user. So if I log in as R. Redgrave, you'll see, hopefully, yeah, I've got my files, which is my home drive on the OES server is coming up and exposing those there, and then on net folders I can see the marketing and sales directories, but I can't see that finance folder because I don't actually have rights to it on the file system, so that's hidden to me. So there we are. I can see the files. If need be, I've got options to preview those files there. I can download them if I wanted to. Thank you for watching this video. I hope that's taking you a little bit further into your installation of Filr. In the next video, we're just going to cover how to set up the sharing capabilities of Filr. Thank you for listening.